I'm John Atack,
I'm Sam Atack.
and he's got a book there. He's got another
put it up.
book that he's going to try and flog to you. There
Yes.
it is. It's called The Tao Te Ching
Yep.
by Lao Tzu, and it's got my name on it somewhere, which is your hands over it,
There it is. The
Yeah.
John Atack.
which is me, John Atack, and the Heaven Circle. I had to do a load of them. I did pages and pages of them until I got
But you got it right.
that one. Well, is it right? But that's a heaven circle, symbol of heaven, which doesn't mean in Chinese what it means to Christians. So that's quite interesting.
So where does this come from? I mean, I know it says. Wait, does it say Lao Tzu?
Came from downstairs.
Oh, down. Yeah, my room actually.
Yeah, it came from your room. The Tao Te Ching was composed somewhere probably between 300 and 400 years before the Christian era. It's attributed to a man called Lao Dan, and who's called Lao Tzu, the master Tzu. He's a kind of mythological character. It's said that he was a librarian. He's often called an imperial librarian, but there was no Chinese empire at that time, so he'd been in one.
Wasn't this the Warring States period?
It is during the 200 years of the Warring States in China, and which is also, of course, the period of the 100 philosophies.
Yeah, the different schools.
Yeah, and so he, the story is that he, as an old bloke, was crossing through one of the gates out of China. And he was held captive by the gatekeeper, who said, "You must write down your wisdom." And he wrote 81 short statements, which are sometimes divided into the Tao Jing and the Dai Jing. Jing means a classic of literature. And so it talks about Tao and Du, which you can spell different ways. You've got the Wade Giles Tao Te Ching, and you've got the Pinyin Tao Te Ching, which is more usual these days. Yeah. Can't remember, can you?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Right. When did you first read the Tao Te Ching?
I was 17, and my girlfriend's mum's boyfriend had left a copy around. He was a factory mechanic, and he was fascinated by this book, and I read it. And when I was 13, I kind of walked away from Christianity because the people teaching it to me were horrible.
Didn't follow the doctrine.
I don't know how. I don't know if you can follow it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd follow it, but they didn't follow the good stuff.
Yeah.
There's some really incredibly profound statements made in the Gospels. Consider the tree by the fruit that it bears, which is a very good idea when looking at the world. It's like, not how many boasts does somebody make, but what do they actually do? What do they produce?
Blessed be the cheesemakers.
I think that's Monty Python again.
Oh, but it was Jesus in Monty Python.
No, it wasn't. It was somebody in the audience who couldn't quite hear properly.
Oh.
As has been pointed out by members of Monty Python, there is nothing negative about Jesus in Life of Brian. There really isn't. And that so many churchmen got upset about it, tried to ban it, is really silly. They said that they wanted to make a film about the life of Christ, but decided it wasn't funny enough. And so the character of Christ at the beginning actually is saying lines from the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount. And they're misheard. But you do get blessed of the meek, or I'm glad they get something. And then the Hey Big Nose, which is your favourite skit.
That's my favourite.
So anyway, I was 17 and I read this thing, and what was great was it's not a religious thing. There is a religion called Taoism, but this book is not a religious thing. It doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It's the attempt of somebody with a philosophical mind, trying to understand the world. So it starts out, and my version has my own little commentary written into it, so you'll have to forgive me for that. I went through every character. There's a wonderful book by Jonathan Starr where he gives you the many meanings of the different characters Chinese. Along the way, over the years, I've read, I think, about 60 translations and tens of commentaries on this to try and understand it. And it, it through the time that I was involved with Scientology, which was 9 years, I still regarded this as a more important text.
Yeah.
I still regard the Buddha's teachings as more important than the teachings of Ron Hubbard, who also said that these were the two teachings that his work was based on. A lecture published as part of the Phoenix Lectures. He says, it's an extension of Buddhism, it's an extension of these. It isn't. That's a simple answer to that. Tao cannot be caught in words, no name can describe it. Although it's beyond names, everything nameable is contained within Tao. From the nameless Tao, the nameable universe emerges. But naming the source of the universe brings us no nearer to its comprehension. Universe is just a label for the mother of everything. Tao is a name for the nameless. My commentary is, trying to map a route to Tao is like painting on water. Each individual's path to the Tao is unique. Escape the ruts of routine, the constant circuit of desire. Stop distracting yourself from your true nature, and you will experience inexplicable marvels. Even if you exhaust your craving, it will never complete you. You must abandon desire to realize that you are already complete. And back to the text of the original, chasing your cravings, you will never reach beyond the surface. Beneath desire is the Tao, but the Tao is also inside desire. Desire and its absence unite in Tao like the opposed sides of a coin, differing only in name. The opposites are hard to understand. To comprehend their fundamental unity is the threshold of the comprehension of the incomprehensible essence of the origin of all origins. So I found something that I didn't need to believe anything, I didn't need to worship anything, I didn't need to follow any guru, I didn't need to do as I was told, which I'm not very good at anyway. And when I left Scientology in 1983, I found 16 versions of the Tao Te Ching, and every night I would take one of the 81 verses, maybe two sometimes, and write my own version of it. And I published, I think maybe it was Christmas 83 or Christmas 84, I made 100 copies and gave them to friends. And looking back, it's a mess. It really, it really isn't a good job at all. So I apologise for that. But it's a very rare book. So in 100 years' time,
it's worth some money.
Probably worth $10 or $12.
Oh,
dollars. Oh, no, dollars,
wow.
I think, by then. Though the dollar will have been devalued down to be the equivalent of 10 or 12 cents now. But don't look out for that because you won't find copies of it. My friends probably, threw it away when they were cleaning things out. So in 2005, having spent a couple of years on it, I wrote this other version. And I think there's a lot of tremendous practical advice that this is the 38th, called number 38.
Parallel.
Yep, that's it. It's the line that divides Korea in another dimension. But here it's just the 38th
page.
But thank you for that. Truly good people never make an issue of their virtues, so their goodness is constant. To emphasize their importance, the least virtuous are forever insisting that their moral rules must be followed. They have no real virtue. The best do not interfere and have no need to hide their plans. Lesser men brag about their virtues and swell their unwarranted authority with riches. True benevolence is its own reward and has no further motive, but moralizing readily supplants benevolence. In the demand to bring order, principles of conduct are formulated and rigidly enforced. My commentary, happiness cannot be achieved by ordering people to smile. Back to the text. When Tao is lost, benevolence fills the void. When benevolence is lost, rules and regulations are devised. These will be enforced, bringing about slavish obedience. At best, the heart loses its centre. People are no longer true to their word, and there is discord. Those who know Tao can predict such outcomes, but desire for prediction is foolish. It is the least of skills. The true sage works with reality rather than expectations and regulations. He does not prevent the fruit from ripening, is not tricked into picking the blossom. He leaves the flower be so that the fruit will form. Tao is, if you like, that out of which the universe arises, that out of which everything comes. It's the original substance, and it can't be described in words. De is pretty much usually translated as virtue or power. And I think it means both things. So throughout my text, I don't see any need to define Tao and De, because that's what we're talking about. I mentioned the thing about the heaven circle, which is Tian in Chinese, and said that every other translation I know uses the word heaven to explain Tian. But the Christian idea of a place you go after you die and play a harp and are very happy isn't what the Chinese mean. They mean harmony. They mean nature. So, and there are, many sensible principles. 56, great names, aren't they? Titles of these pieces. Yeah, 56. We find lines that would be used by Socrates at about the same time. He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know, which led one commentator to say of the Tao Te Ching, well, shouldn't have said it, should you? But he couldn't have left the gatekeeper in prison, so he had to do it. He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Close the mouth and be quiet. Blunt your sharpness. Unravel your knots. Soften the glare. Blend with the light. Become one with the dust. This is profound harmony. The sage is not moved to either attraction or aversion, nor swayed by either profit or loss. He is unconcerned by esteem or disgrace. His equanimity is cherished by all who see it. So it describes, a way of being, a way to life, and a way of feeling more comfortable. 48, seek learning and you will know more each day. Seek Tao and you will know less each day. There will be less and less until there is nothing at all. Then nothing will remain to be done. Through this lack of interference, a harmonious world would be gained. Interfering always leaves more to be done. 35, hold firm the truth within you and the whole world will follow. You will attract peaceful abundance and be beyond harm. Strangers stop to hear music or to buy fine food, but Tao seems unexciting. It seems bland and flavourless. People are not attracted by the idea of Tao, but no amount of use will exhaust it. And on and on and on. 23, learn from nature and don't waste words. A violent storm soon blows itself out. Even nature cannot maintain such frenzy. Apply your energy usefully. Cultivate Tao in your everyday life. Identify yourself completely with Tao. Then success will come naturally. Loss of Tao leads to failure. Identification with Tao brings joy and success will also bring joy. True happiness can never come from owning things. Be honest if you want to be trusted. Now, Taoism splits into two camps, which are not really separate. One is religious Taoism, called Huxian, or alchemical Taoism. And this is an attempt to have an incredibly long life, to live forever.
Yeah.
And then you have, particularly in the West, people like myself who are called Zhenglao Taoists. We follow ideas within Jiangsu and Lao Tzu, but we have no religious worship or practice. We just see this as a philosophy, as a way of approaching life. And it's a way of life that inclines towards stillness, towards quietening yourself down, to not being excited and overstimulated all the time. So it's pretty much in opposition to the Western world, the internet, television. It's a way of finding calmness and peace inside yourself. And, I think, seeking to help other people. Though Lao Tzu said that you discover the Tao and you then teach it to the princes, to the rulers, whereas Jiangsu, who I think I lean more towards these days than to Lao Tzu, Jiangsu said that you find the Tao and go fishing. Because when you try and do anything with, the leaders of the world, your life will become a misery. And when you try to oppose the horrors of the world, which I'm afraid I've spent most of my life doing, nasty things will be thrown at you, nasty things will be said about you. So go and cultivate your garden, as Voltaire said, and don't waste your time watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So thanks to Spike and to Rex for their great work in preparing these mystical tracts for the universe's benefit. We hope that this has been as much fun for you, half as much fun even for you as it has been for us.
You can only have half.
Yeah. But if it's been 3/4 as much fun, that'd be great. And please buy the book. Can be found on Amazon, which is not actually a bookstore in South America, by the way.
Oh.
Populated by women who've cut one of their breasts off so that they can fire a bow, the Amazons.
Fair enough.
As found in Greek legend. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And any other decent bookstore ought to have it, really. And if they don't, say, why haven't you got this book? It's brilliant. I'm John Atack.
I'm Sam Atack.
And thank you for indulging us. Hope to see you again soon.